Hello, hello, all, and welcome back to another car conversation. Again, just a little couple of housekeeping notes. You see here the correct spelling of my name at the bottom of the screen. You see my Cash App. If you'd like to bless a sister, bless a sister. And then also you have my IG information there because I put a lot more political information, advice, my thoughts, all of that information, clips from segments that I think is pertinent for everybody to know going into this election season. So I put a lot of that content on my IG. So be sure to follow me there. Now let's talk about SCOTUS. Let's talk about the Supreme Court, and let's talk about what this ruling. I had to let it marinate. I had to let it settle. I had to calm myself down. I had the same gut punch kind of feeling that I had in 2016 when the election was called. I felt the same exact way because this last decision by the Supreme Court to give complete and total immunity to anyone that holds the presidential office is, I just don't believe that people really grasp how bad that is, how horrible this could potentially be. And I don't understand why people aren't getting it, because we saw what 45 got away with when he was in office. Given a second opportunity and having learned from the first term that he had, what do y'all think he's going to be like? What do you think he's going to do? And now been given free reign by the Supreme Court. What do you think it's going to look like? Now, you say, well, he doesn't have total free reign. They said, if he's only acting in the capacity of the office as president. But who determines whether or not his behaviors, whether or not these actions are in line with the presidency and what he has to do, the decisions he has to make in that capacity? This same ultra-conservative Supreme Court, this same Supreme Court that was put together and promoted by Leonard Leo and the Heritage Foundation. It's going to be the same people. So this is why people are saying, I don't know if you remember this, but in 2020, 45 literally tossed around amongst his cabinet whether or not he could just order for the National Guard to go out and shoot protesters in the leg. Can we just shoot them in the legs or something? He just threw that out. And luckily, there were some, I don't even want to say adults in the room. There were some guardrails. There were some people that had some ethics, had some common sense, had some morals that were there and that were in place. They were like, no, they pushed back. No, you can't do that. But this next, God forbid, if he were to receive another opportunity to occupy the Oval Office, he's going to surround himself with yes people. He's going to bring in all his people. And then also, I'm just going to touch on Project 2025. If you haven't already read it, they're going to clear out 50,000 civil service workers and have people, they already are getting people in place to replace 50,000 people in the Department of Education, in the DOJ, in the FDA, in the department that controls make sure that our air is clean, our water is clean and fit for drinking. All the departments that are usually run by scientists, doctors, the CDC, scientists, doctors, experts. They're going to replace all of those people. That's what's in Project 2025. So literally, we as American people will be vulnerable to any whim that 45 got in his head and decided he wanted to do. And then all his minions that have have replaced the experts in these areas that keep us healthy, that make sure medications are safe for us to take, that make sure, I don't know, chicken that you buy in grocery stores is safe to eat, that make sure the ocean, like right now, it's the 4th of July. There's certain beaches that are closed because there's bacteria in the water. That department that does that work will be completely replaced with people that don't know what the fuck they're doing. And so those beaches would be open today. Human beings would get in that water and potentially get sick. So when people try to emphasize how detrimental not only Project 2025 is, but also 45 getting back in office and then having this complete and total immunity, please believe us. This is not hyperbole. This is not a drill. We're not making this shit up. We're not doomsday people. I love to live in the light. I love to be happy. I'm an optimist, but I also want to continue to live this happy, optimistic life, preferably in America. I don't have to be, but preferably in America. So this is why we continue to talk about this over and over and over again, to get people to wake up to how dangerous these people are to us. They mean us harm. They mean the average American citizen harm. If you're not wealthy, if you're not well-to-do, well-connected, and if you're not white, they mean you harm. And you really need to pay attention. Let me move on. So, in calling for shooting protesters in the leg, he'd be immune for that. Calling the National Guard to go after his political opponents, he would be immune in that. Calling on the SEAL team to go after whomever he wanted them to go after, SEAL Team 6, to go after those potential enemies, political or otherwise. It could be a journalist on a news network that speaks the truth and speaks out against him. Oh, well, you know what? This person has been speaking against our administration and is turning people against us. So in my presidential capacity, I believe that person should be taken out. I believe that person should be jailed. I believe that person should lose their job. I believe that person should be deported. And this Supreme Court, they have shown us over and over and over again, they would follow whatever he wants to do. This case in itself should have never seen the day of light. A case, if these people, because they lied to us, they tricked us, they bamboozled us into thinking and believing. I didn't when I was hearing those confirmation hearings. I didn't. But apparently the majority of the Senate did, and they confirmed them. So when they sat there and lied over and over and over, no, we're going to go by the Constitution. We're going to go by what's already been set in America. And then as soon as they are confirmed, what do? So if you don't believe that these individuals, in the face of everything that 45 could do, given the power of the presidential office again, if you don't think they would support him, then you're living in crazy land. You just don't want to believe. You just don't want to see it. You just don't want to see it. And I feel bad for you because you're not going to arm yourself or be able to protect yourself. This case should have never seen the light of day. People who are constitutionalists, people who really believe in the Constitution would immediately said, giving the president unlimited immunity. Oh, hell no. They would have sent that back. They would say, we're not wasting time on that. Send that back down to the lower court. But no, this Supreme Court not only took the case, they sat on it. They sat on it for almost a year, I believe. You can check me on the time frame. And then now we get down to the wire right before the election. They decide to make this decision. So now all the cases that have already been, bought against 45, those judges have to go back and evaluate before they can even sentence him or move forward. They have to go back and evaluate which actions he took in the capacity of the office, or if these were personal actions. So that puts in jeopardy the case with Judge Chutkan out of DC. That puts in jeopardy the case in Fulton County with Fonnie Willis. That puts that case in jeopardy. The case with Jack Smith. And we ain't even gonna talk about the Florida case because she's working with SCOTUS too. She's working for the ops too. So, she's not trying, she was never trying to bring that case to light. So yeah, ultimate free reign to do whatever he wants to do, or he or she, because it's anybody in the office. And here's the other thing I'd like to say about that. To me, in my personal opinion, this is just my personal opinion, I feel like it is a setup actually for whomever their next person is that they're going to try to get in office. So I don't know how long. I hope to God, I pray to God, they are not successful. And this doesn't even have to be a conversation. But whomever, Stephen Miller, Steve Bannon, the Stone dude, Roger Stone, whomever the next person is, that they're those little racist guys, whomever the next person is, I feel like this is a setup for that person. I feel like this is a setup for somebody who is even more of a menace to society, even more maniacal, even more intelligent, number one, but even more likely to do the bidding of white nationalism, of racist white supremacy groups, of the Heritage Foundation, and all those people. So this is bad. This is very bad. My summation is, this is very, very bad. Everybody needs to be paying attention, all hands on deck. We need to all make sure that we are doing our part to make sure that up and down the ballot, from your local elections to the very top of the ticket, is blue. Just vote blue. Just vote blue. And if you're sitting here thinking, well, Joe is too old. Did you just hear what I said to you? Did you just hear what I said to you? Everything I just said to you would change our lives. It would change our health. It would change our access to healthcare. It would change our access to education, our children's access to education. It puts the 10 Commandments in classrooms at public schools. You're forcing little Muslim kids, little Sikh kids, little kids that follow Hinduism, all types of children to learn from a Christian narrative. Is indoctrination for children. This is horrific. It could be horrific if we don't do the right thing right now. And if you're afraid, or you think I'm fear-mongering you right now, I am, because I want you to wake up. I want you to wake up and pay attention. I want you to vote in your best interest. I want you to vote in the best interest of your children and your families. I want you to really do your own due diligence before it's too late. Before it is too late.